Hello everyone, I'm Wissam from CardioDiagnostics, and today I'm going to walk you through our business. So CardioDiagnostics is a medical technology company which focuses on services and remote patient monitoring. And we were focused on diagnostic cardiology and more recently diabetes and hypertension and other chronic conditions as well. So chronic diseases result in 7 in 10 deaths in the United States, with 130 million or over 130 million people suffering from one or more chronic conditions in the US. So you can see there's a huge market in the US. So for cardiac monitoring, defining the clinical need for cardiac monitoring in particular, we have 4 million Americans who have arrhythmias, 2.7 of which are atrial fibrillation, which causes strokes and heart disease. They have a high risk for strokes and heart disease. So long-term cardiac monitoring, like we provide, increases the diagnostic outcomes by 3 times. Now, for chronic disease management, 6 in 10 adults in the US have chronic diseases, and this results in $3.5 trillion in healthcare costs annually. So remote patient monitoring, or RPM, which is another software we provide, increases patient compliance by 5 times and patient outcomes by 2 times. So this is our cardiology line. We work with FDA-cleared wearable cardiac devices. We link them up to our cloud-based software called CloudBeat, and we also offer the monitoring services to analyze the data collected. So this is actually the world's first hardware-agnostic cloud-based cardiac monitoring software. So hardware-agnostic meaning we work with any device as long as it's FDA approved. We can link it to our software. And cloud-based meaning we don't use the typical servers that other providers used to use without the hassle of the servers. We offer cloud-based technology, which is accessible as long as you have an internet-connected device from anywhere at any time. And these are actually some images of the devices we can work with. So we also have the HIPAA-compliant cardiac monitoring centers in the US and the first HIPAA-compliant monitoring centers outside of the US as well. These are actually samples of our reports, which we can customize depending on what the physicians require, so according to what they need. And now moving to our remote patient monitoring software. So to do this, we actually work with different manufacturers to integrate their devices into our mobile app, where the patient can measure their data. And this is actually communicated to our cloud-based software for the physicians to actually analyze and provide reports as well, similar to the CloudBeat product. So to do this, you just connect the device, automatically measure and visualize the data. And we also have goal tracking approaches to increase compliance. We can chat with physicians, schedule appointments, and even have video consultations with our physicians. Lastly, what do our customers value in us? Our quality, flexibility, and customer experience. And we work with large companies such as GE, Abbott, and even smaller companies and the whole spectrum in between. And lastly, our financial metrics. So the company is cash flow positive. Our recurrent revenue has quadrupled since COVID-19. And our new growth lines are growing at 223% per month. And our next round for investment is the end of 2021. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Your timing is great. And dear judges, we have a Q&A session with CardioDiagnostics.
Anna, this is a great initiative. It seems as if you didn't need to be here because you're only raising funds at the end of 2021. It means that it's a year from now. But another thing is your market reach. I see you keep talking only about the US. What is it about Africa that your product caters for?
Actually,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, go ahead, sorry.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the question is, what are we offering in the Middle East and Africa?
Yes, because I can see from your diagram, you've mentioned enough a lot about the US.
Yes, sure. Actually, we do operate in the Middle East and Africa. Our main focus has been the US because of the insurance reimbursement that they offer. So it's been a more perceptive market, but we do have our operations and our clients operating in the US, in the Middle East, US, and Africa as well.
All right.
Can you explain who are your clients? Do you have B2B model?
Yeah, great question. So we do have a B2B model where we work with hospitals and testing facilities, even some manufacturers as well. But we recently launched a B2C model for direct interactions with the hospitals and physicians. So we have both B2C and B2B models depending on the product we're talking about.
Okay, but you wrote in your profile that you have already 35 clients, yes?
Yes, yes.
Who are they?
These clients are actually mainly focused on these testing facilities, as I mentioned, and certain large companies where we can create software for them particularly. In terms of B2C, this was recently launched, I'd say about a month ago. So we are still gaining traction on that front.
Okay, but why, for example, the owners of devices, I mean producers of devices, need to share information with you? Usually they have their own software which analyze the data.
Wissam, would you like me
Yes,
to?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, so this is Joanna. I'm on Wissam's team. I'm actually the Director of Sales and Operations globally at CardioDiagnostics. So to answer your question, basically regarding the clients, most of our clients are hospitals in the US and in the Middle East. We also have a SaaS model that services monitoring centers, remote cardiac monitoring centers in the US in particular. And we've also created the monitoring center in the Middle East that basically services 12 countries in the Middle East and Africa. So we do the remote monitoring using our software and our services. Now, regarding your question of why do those manufacturers wanna integrate with us? So basically, our software and what it provides customers is actually unprecedented globally. So the features, the customizations ability, the scalability ability, and the flexibility in the workflow of our software is not like any other software out there in the market. And usually, those manufacturers, whether it's on RPM, so glucose monitors, etc., or whether it's cardiac monitoring manufacturers, Holters, etc., they only focus on devices because devices in this industry is actually a commodity. So they are actively looking for software providers and service providers that can complete their whole offering to give the device, the software, and the service basically for this solution.
Okay, so I will introduce you to hardware device producers we have in our portfolio. The company which is called Cardiom. I will send in the chat. So probably they will be your client if it's so good. If your software is really so good, why not? Okay, and what revenue do you have for today? For the last year, for example, last year revenue?
Joanna, would you care to take that? Hello? Well, I'd have to say our revenue since we started is in the 7 digits. Sadly, I can't divulge more given my standing in the company, but we are in the 7 digits revenue since we started.
Sorry about that. I got cut off for a few minutes.
Yeah, we are talking about revenue.
Okay, all right.
Last year revenue. As I understood, it's 7-0 figure, yeah?
Sure, it's in the 7 digits, correct.
Okay, thank you very much.